Taurus, happy September 2017. This is Dark Dove Tarot. Hope everybody is doing fantastic. I'm going to move these. As you know, I always pre-shuffle, but I like to add a little energy before we get started. Again, I hope you're doing wonderful. As you know, my reads tend to focus on love, especially for the single population. I do add in anybody looking to reconcile, you know, if I see fit with that card or that position. As you know, they're general, so please check your sun, moon, and rising, because some months those may resonate with you more than others. Okay. As I always state, too, I move pretty quick. I have a lot to say, a lot I want to get out, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. Any likes, subscribes, greatly appreciated. Private read donation information is in the description down below. Let's get moving here. All right, Taurus. For September 2017. All right, so first position is always your current position coming into the month, and you have temperance. So immediately that says that you're being very balanced. If you're single, it tells me that you're looking at dating. If you're not already dating, you're going to start dating. Or if you have been dating, you're not being consumed by it. In other words, and I feel like some of you have been there before. So the temperance is saying that you're everything in moderation, right? So you're dating, but it's not taking over your life. It's not, you know, consuming your work life. You're not letting it affect other areas of your life. And some of you, I think, have been in the past where it was just like overwhelming, and maybe you've taken a break and you're just now getting back into it. Or maybe you've been doing it for a while, but you're kind of like slow and steady, right? Wins the race. Because this card is also about compromise. So I feel like your headspace is like cleared, and you're focused, and you know what you want, but you realize that you have to make sacrifices to get what you want too. And you're kind of putting out into the universe what you want, baby steps, right? But at the same time, again, like some of you, I just get this feeling that you were before, if you've, you know, been there, done that, online dating or meetup groups or whatever you're doing, that you were like, you'd meet somebody and it was all consuming, or you'd spend a lot of time on the app, or, you know, you just, oh, what does he or she think of me? And, oh, I can't wait to meet them. And it was like date after date or whatever. And now you're just kind of like, I'm going to talk to a few people, get to know a few people, meet a few people, you know, kind of steady my focus a little bit. And some of you may have taken a break and you're kind of coming back in, but you're not quite sure. You just don't want to jump 2 feet in. So you're keeping your work-life balance, you know, as healthy as possible. Not to say some of you don't have chaos, or that everybody doesn't have chaos at some point, but you're coming into September kind of like, okay, back to school if you have kids, or if you're, you know, going to university or whatever the case may be. And then it's just kind of more of a routine. Again, like you had your summer fun, and now you're taking your time to really focus on all areas of your life and making sure that you're not feeling overwhelmed on the dating, which is weird because I do get the sense that some of you want to jump, you know, put both feet in and just get super consumed in it, but you know that it's just not a good fit, and it made you a little crazy before. So for anybody looking to reconcile, this is either you're in communication with a person, or you're thinking about having communication with them, but you're also being very balanced. So you're kind of like, you don't want to go back and point the finger, and you're also not going to accept them pointing the finger. So this is going to be about compromise. If you do decide to contact them, or they contact you, or if you're already in communication, it's like very slow going, you're trying to be calm, cool, and collective. Nobody's really, you know, pulling out the swords at this point. The next card you have is always your feelings or challenges that either help or hinder your position coming into the month. And you have the Eight of Swords, which immediately says you're holding yourself back. This card represents your hand holding yourself back from something you want. If you are dating, if you are back in the dating world, or if you have been for a while, again, and you've just been taking it slow and steady, I almost feel like you are maybe meeting people that you really could get connected with, but so we'll find out as the cards play out, but it almost makes me feel like some of you have been burned dating, which we all have, right? I mean, I don't know about you and what type of dating you're doing, but I've done online dating and it can suck, like seriously suck. And the Eight of Swords is like, it's almost like you, like I said with Temperance, you don't want to jump with both feet in because you've been there, you've done that, you've gotten your hopes up, and it maybe didn't work out the way you wanted. The Eight is like your imprisonment and self-doubt. You're trying to control situations you can. So this tells me that even if somebody seems head over heels for you, or like they're really interested in you, you're kind of like, let's take it slow, let's be balanced, which isn't a bad thing. I think the main thing would be just don't lack any enthusiasm. Or if somebody really likes you and you like them, you know, no games or no like, and not saying that you're playing Taurus, because Taurus is very direct, right? But more that, like, if you feel something, allow yourself to feel it and go for it. Don't try and control the situation because you can't control it. But what you can do is, you know, self-defeat, basically. And the Eight says that you're ready, you want to meet somebody amazing, but some of you have some doubts because you've had unsuccessful relationships or because you've been single. Some of you have been single for a long time, and this says that you're just kind of like, is there really somebody out there for me? Or am I a good enough partner? Some of you have some serious self-doubt, and you're going to have to get over that because what you put out into the universe, confidence or knowing that you're a good person and that you have a lot to offer and bring to the table in a relationship, reflects on the way people see you. They can see that inside emotion come out. So you're going to have to work a little bit on knowing that you're deserving and that, you know, you can find what you want. Temperance is all about time, right? All about being patient. Some of you might be like, dark dove, I've been patient for 2 years, what the frick? But it, you know, it'll come when it's supposed to come. If you rush it, then bad things can happen. But also don't try and control it. Like, if you're feeling somebody, let them know. You know, make it happen. If you're looking to reconcile, the Eight of Swords is about confusion. So this tells me that some of you are confused on a situation. Like, maybe you have been in contact, maybe you're taking it slow, maybe you're trying to compromise, but you almost feel like you're imprisoned in, you're being in control here, and some of you, it almost seems like you need to be out of control. You've never been able to tell this person, no, this is bullshit. This is what's going on here, and this is what needs to be fixed. It's almost like you've always had to keep yourself in check. Like, you couldn't really show your emotions, you know, or if you did show your emotions, I get the sense some of you are, you know, like, you're crazy, or you're dramatic, or it's almost like you feel like you have to keep yourself in check. You can't let yourself get too excited. If you are in contact, some of you are holding back excitement that there's a possibility you could be getting back together. It's almost like you're just not sure which way to go. And so if you are super excited, you're holding yourself back from showing too much emotion because maybe you're not sure how excited they are or how they feel, and you don't want to be overly dreamy, and they're like, yeah, it's not going to work. So again, the reconciliation is still kind of up in the air so far for the beginning of September, or at least, you know, how you're coming into the month. The next card you have is your distant past. So over the past few years, could be 10 years, and you have the 10 of Cups, which 10 must represent something for somebody out there because 10 years and 10 of Cups popped in my head almost simultaneously. The 10 of Cups, so I always revisit the past because every month, because there are certain traits or certain things that you have thought about, want, that you've been through, that are either going to reflect positively on that month or negatively on the month. And the 10 is very positive. This is about family. This is about joy, peace. And so this is telling me, what jumps out immediately is that if you're single, I usually read single and reconciliation together on this distant past, because most of the time when you're looking to reconcile or wondering about that, you're not looking to reconcile with the same person as these past relationships, because they're a long, long time ago. It could be for some of you, but most of these, this is distant past. And the 10 tells me that a lot of you either watched, like, had a happy home life, and not perfect, but some of you watched, like, a parent, either your parents were together, or maybe they split and got remarried and were really happy. But this tells me that some of you really want that family, that white picket fence, like, X amount of kids and the dog and the cat, or whatever you're envisioning, which could be completely different. It could be like a family of, cowboys and cowgirls, whatever you want, right? But the 10 of Cups is you reflecting back, going, I either lived this with my family, I grew up in a big family, and so I want a lot of kids, or at one point in a past relationship, you had that, or like you were developing that, or you thought that's where you were going, and it didn't work out. And so you're remembering the good times and trying to figure out how to incorporate that in dating, and how to incorporate that if you are looking to reconcile, because there are certain things you want. You do want, the peace of a relationship, and either at one point you had that, or maybe you have a sibling who's had that, or, again, your parents, or maybe even you were married and had kids for a long time, and that was the happiest you could ever be, and for some reason it didn't work out, or maybe there was a death, or, again, it's so general because it's pertaining to so many people, but the 10 is basically saying at some point in your past you were happy, and you want to get back to that point, and a lot of it revolved around, like, the peace and love of family, just family in general. And maybe you're realizing this month that the things that make you the most happy are your family, whether it's, kids, pets, parents, siblings. You're realizing certain things that will always make you happy. And it seems like family, whether it's blood family or friends that you call family, make you happy. And you want somebody who's going to make you happy, and you make them happy. And some of you, it really is about, I want a big family. I want to get married. I want those types of traditional dreams. Some of you traditional, some of you off the wall. But whatever it is, I think you get it. Like, whatever it is that's going to make you happy is what you're realizing this month. And you're starting to, like, almost reminisce on, this is what made me happy. And family comes first and is most important. And I want somebody to either create one with, or share one with, etc. The next card you have is the most recent past, so over the past few weeks, past month or two, and you have the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is about truth. This person is very intellectual, and I think that's reminiscent of you if you're single, because I think you are, like, you're coming to the truth within yourself, like you're realizing everything in moderation, right? And the King is saying the past few weeks, because I think maybe over the summer you did overindulge in dating, or, maybe you dated people that was more lust and there was a physical connection and whatnot. And now you're kind of like, okay, all bullshit aside, I know what I want. I know what I need to do to get it. I'm smart, I'm intellectual, and, I realize that to get what I want, I have to do certain things. So you're kind of like calming it down, toning it down, honing it in. And the King says the past few weeks you've been working on that. Okay, maybe it was summer, maybe you were having flings, but now you want to get back to work-life balance, realizing that in time you will find what you want. It doesn't have to be fast-paced. And I think that's important, because some of you may have been burning the candle on both ends. If you're looking to reconcile, it kind of goes along with this confusion. I think some of you are needing answers on some things before you can even begin to talk or compromise. You want to compromise. You want to balance things out. You want to figure things out. But the King says that, like, you need answers. There may have been infidelity or lies. I get some people even just little white lies, but it was a constant little white lies. And you just really right now are kind of like the past few weeks delving into was I getting honesty at all? Or, which almost makes me feel like maybe your ex has been contacting you, kind of poking you a little bit to see, not poking you, but that can be construed several different ways, but like kind of testing the waters to see if you'll even have a conversation with them or not. The next card you have is your distant future, so over the next few months, not just in September, and you have the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands is, if you're single, this is excellent because this is like a spark, a curiosity. This is confidence, the confidence that maybe you were lacking inside a little bit that I talked about before. This tells me that somebody, and I think it's just one person, could be a few people, but I really firmly believe over the next few months, somebody is going to bring out the best in you. Somebody's going to bring out your confidence. They're going to spark your curiosity. They're going to engage you in ways that other people have never engaged you. And I think for some of you, it may be somebody that you would just kind of like, they seem okay. But they're going to come at you with something. Like they're going to start talking to you about something, and all of a sudden you're going, maybe we have more in common than I thought. Or they're going to surprise you. They're going to be a little more like down. It's almost like they're going to come out and be like, look, this is what I'm looking for. I think we could be a good fit. Like they're going to lay all their cards out on the table. There's not going to be there's no hidden agenda. You're not going to feel any red flags. And for some of you, you may almost just feel like a friendship vibe. You're not really like lusting after them, but that's going to grow. It's very interesting. It feels like this may be a person that you never expected. And then all of a sudden you're going to be like, well, maybe I do find them a little attractive. I'm intrigued. That's exactly what this is. Somebody is going to intrigue you. And it may be a right fit for you. And 10 just popped in my head again for some reason, which is October. So maybe this is in October, but for some reason 10 popped right back into my head. So if you're single, I think that's a really good sign. If you're looking to reconcile, I think that some of you may decide that you're going to get out into the dating field, and then you would be considered single too. But you're still going to be holding on to that possibility of getting back together, but I see it's like slow going. This is not something that tomorrow, and for some of you, you may be like, hey, you know what? They called me, we're back together tomorrow. But I really feel like this is going to be slow moving, and in the meantime, you're going to test the waters of dating, and you may realize that there are some people out there that could possibly be a good fit with you as well, and that may hinder your reconciliation. The next card you have is your immediate future. So over the next few weeks throughout September, and you have the Chariot. So Chariot screams Cancer immediately to me because this is Cancer's card. So some of you may meet a Cancer, may be dealing with a Cancer, but the Chariot is about, it's very interesting, Taurus, because you're getting a lot of balance, self-control, awareness, moderation. Temperance was like that, and the Chariot is also like that. The Chariot is all about balance, right? Because if these two dragons are moving in the same direction, the ride is smooth, right? But if they're not, then it's not. So this is telling me, I feel like if you're single, you're going to know right off the bat. Either the date's going to go well, you guys kind of click, or you're not. And you're going to notice that you kind of have a dual personality a little bit, because the Chariot's about, giving a little, like, you're gonna open up and be fun, your fun self, but you're also gonna be direct and down to earth. And so you're kind of, depending on who you're with, you're gonna notice like different things that come out in you when you're around certain people and their behaviors. And it's not a bad thing. It's gonna be very positive, because you're gonna be able to find that balance with somebody who makes you happy, they make you laugh, but they're also very intense and make you think, or it like goes perfectly with the page. It's almost like you're gonna have some sort of burning desire that comes into play at some point to go along with this. It's also really about ID, and with ID I mean knowing who you are. And so I think singles are gonna spend the next few weeks just really learning a lot about themselves and the people that they want to be around. And again, I think that flows from, the past few months have been kind of chaotic. Some of you have been just date after date after date, or concentrating a lot on that, and the Chariot's like slowing it down and lining it up so that you can move together into the future with this person that I think is going to intrigue you. If you're looking to reconcile, it's going to come down to self-control and balance with you with this Chariot. And you may be dealing with a Cancer or a water sign. But it's definitely, which Taurus is actually a very good connection with Cancer. But it's going to, either it's going to balance itself out, you're going to get the answers that you're looking for, you're going to get compromises, you guys will move forward in the same direction, or it's going to fall apart. You're going to go in one direction, they're going to go in the other direction. I really feel like the Chariot's 50-50. But you're going to kind of hold your composure no matter what. So I don't think you're going to get out of control. Like I said here, I think you might be holding back, and there may be some emotional things you need to say. And some of you are too afraid to say it, or you're worried that if you say the wrong thing, you're going to chase them off. But I really feel like some of you need to burst that bubble and let your emotions flow, or let your anger flow. Not, don't get violent or anything, but sometimes you have to get upset. Sometimes you have to show that emotion to let the other person know how much it really means to you. And the next card you have is external factors. So anything throughout the month that may affect you, tangibly. And you have the Eight of Cups. So this tells me that you're wanting to move a little faster. This is about stagnation. And so if you're single, I think that you're used to moving fast. And I think that's why you're coming this month not moving fast. And you're kind of like holding yourself back from going crazy over somebody, or, delving into it too quickly. And the 8 is kind of like you're going to be torn. You're going to be like, oh, this is moving so slow. We've been on 4 dates. He or she hasn't even kissed me or let me kiss him or whatever. And you're going to feel like a little bit of dissatisfaction on and off throughout September. But it's not a bad thing, because I really feel like some of you do need to slow it down and pay better attention to who you're dating and your surroundings. If you're looking to reconcile, I feel like some of you are pulling your hair out, because you're going, what are we doing here? Like, either we're going to make changes and we're going to talk about it and we're going to get to the root of all of this crap, or we're not and I'm moving on. I mean, this point simple, that's what I'm getting if you're looking to reconcile. You're annoyed because you want an answer, you're not getting an answer, and you almost don't even know the answer yourself on what you want. So you're annoyed with yourself, you're annoyed with your ex, you're annoyed with everybody around you. Everybody's giving you ideas and suggestions, and you're just like, enough. We're either doing it or we're not. The next card you have is internal factors. So anything you're going to feel throughout September. And you have the Moon, which is very interesting because this card is, it's like being in the dark and getting like a sliver of moon, right? A crescent moon, or getting a full moon. Like, sometimes you feel like you see the big picture and sometimes you don't. So if you're dating, I think that this person is going to come in and kind of illuminate that for you. But right now you're going to feel like maybe you're not reading people, or maybe you're seeing things that aren't there. Like it's almost illusional in the fact that you're worried that people are saying one thing, but they're actually meaning another thing. And in other cases, you feel like you see the big picture and then it doesn't work out and you're going, what the heck? It's like you're trying to figure out dating and you want it to go really well, and you have big dreams for yourself and meeting the right partner. But the people you thought were good for you, the people that you thought were good for you are not ending up good for you. And the people that you were kind of like, I'm not really interested, you're like, maybe there's more to them than I thought. So it's very interesting. I think you're going to have some mixed emotions about some people you're going to meet this month. The next card, this person's coming in, and they're going to end up taking your time and attention. You'll keep it balanced, but they're going to keep you off of like sites and dating sites and stuff like that. If you're looking to reconcile, you're also feeling disillusion. So I really, really, really strongly feel like, Taurus, you need some answers before you could ever consider getting back together with this person. The last 2 cards you have are your hopes and fears for the month, and you have death and your outcome of the month. And you have the Hermit. So slow and steady again, Taurus. Death is about rebirth, transformation, changes. And I'm going to start with reconciliation. If you're looking to reconcile, the Death card is saying that you want change. You may still want to be with your partner, but unless big changes are made and you get answers and there's no more secrets, no more illusions, then you're done. Like, this is make or break for you. There's no more little chances. Some of you have had tons of chances. You give not. It's interesting. I just said that because maybe it is some of you that have had chances and your partner's done with you. But I strongly feel like you've been the one giving them chances, and they've walked all over it, and you're just like, no, I'm done. And I do think you need to burst that emotional bubble a little bit and let them know, like, you're not playing games. There's no fifth time's a charm here. You need to see changes or you're moving on. For anybody who's single, this like transformation of the death card. A lot of people don't like the death card, and yet it's one of my favorite cards because it's an ending, but not an ending, a physical ending. It's not an actual death. It's an ending to a certain way of thinking, an ending to a certain way of doing. And I really think that's what you've been doing this month. Again, with the balance and the patience and the figuring things out. I also think that you're changing the way you're dating and who you're dating, which is why this person is all of a sudden going to intrigue you unexpectedly, because they're not the type of person that you thought was your type or your stereotypical, not stereotypical, but what you want or what you always thought you would like or who you always thought that you'd be with or fall in love with. And I think that's super important because it's like you're paying attention to it. And your outcome for the month of September is not bad. The Hermit is actually a very spiritual card. This is somebody who is realizing their inner beauty, their inner self, their inner hopes and dreams. It's almost like you're retreating inside yourself to make sure that you're taking care of you and finding what you want. And that's what the Hermit does. They gain the wisdom they need. So you may be, reading self-help books. I don't know why that popped into my head, or getting therapy, or and if you're looking to reconcile, that may be exactly what you're doing. You may be getting therapy or telling that person you need to get therapy before we can even get there. But if you're looking to reconcile, you're definitely retreating inside yourself. You may branch out a little bit this month, but I feel like by the end of the month, you're almost going to feel like the Hermit. You're not going to feel like finding other love until this other situation is resolved. Whichever way it goes, you're going to be fine with, because there's not a lot of major anger or emotion here yet. It's almost like you're spent. You don't have time for it, and you're exhausted from it. If you're single, this tells me that you are feeling almost an emotional high that you haven't felt before, because there's going to be like some sort of spirituality connected to it. But not like, oh, you went to church. It could be that you went to church and all of a sudden had an epiphany, but more that you're feeling like yourself more than ever, and you're feeling like you are attracting the right people now, and you're taking time for yourself, and you're balancing things out, which again, I think is great. And that means that, the potential is there for somebody. You're taking the time off needed. You're doing the things you need in order to attract the right people and meet the right people. And I think you're going to start seeing some results, but you're like retreating from letting the dating life consume you, if that makes sense. And I'm actually going to use these cards really quick to clarify. I want to clarify your outcome and your distant past, your distant future. Ooh, and those two just slipped right out. So we'll use, there's three. So we'll use those. All right, so I'm going to put this one on your outcome for the month, and this one on your distant future, and I'm going to put this one on your immediate future. All right, so let's start with your immediate future, and you have the Chariot like we discussed, but now you have the Four of Diamonds over that, and the Four of Diamonds is feeling aggressive, feeling like you can go get it. So if you're single, I really do think, like the Chariot, like I said, I really do feel like you're going to be full steam ahead, on a certain path, and either you're going to know right away, this person's on the same path I am, or they're not, and you're cutting ties. Like that's it. That's to the T, exactly what the Four is crowning, that you're not playing games anymore, and you're not doing the lust, and you're like eyes straight forward, full steam ahead. And if you're looking to reconcile, it's the same exact thing. Either you're running the Chariot with me, and we're in the same direction, or we're dividing. No ifs, ands, or buts. The outcome of the month, and you have the King of Clubs. So the King of Clubs is somebody who's entrepreneurial, creative, and I think that goes really well with the Hermit because it does tell me that you're taking time for yourself, that you're becoming you. You're doing things for yourself. The entrepreneurial goes well with this because you're like stepping out on your own. But in dating, you really are. You're it's almost like you're looking at it business wise, and not a negative way, but like, okay, if I were to spend the rest of my life with this person, what would I really get with them? How would I really feel? How responsible are they? You know, and it's not bad. It's just very analytical. And if you're looking to reconcile, this is more hot-tempered and very charismatic, but very forceful. So I think by the end of the month, you may just let these emotions that I was talking about rip full circle, and then you're going to retreat into your hermit, into your little cave for a little while, because you're going to be like, I'm laying it all on the table. You can't treat me like crap anymore. No more bullshit. Da 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 da. And then you're going to be like, peace, and take a break, because it's all been driving you crazy. And the last is your distant future. I want to know who that Page of Wands is, but you have the Jack of Diamonds. And the Jack of Diamonds is, so it's like, we couldn't have pulled a better card for this one to crown the page, because the Jack is somebody who is like reliable and hardworking, but they're very in-depth. Like they have a lot of like hidden parts, but not hidden in like they're hiding anything from you or they're being shady, but like little secret surprises, like maybe a hobby that they don't come right out and tell you about that you really like or you want to get to know. They have like a lot of little, they're kind of quiet and mysterious, but they're not ever hiding anything from you necessarily. They're just, they're going to pleasantly surprise you. Let's put it that way. You're going to be intrigued and they're going to pleasantly surprise you. And that's exactly what the Jack of Diamonds is saying. If you're looking to reconcile, this is you being hardworking. This is you being hidden away from, you're going to kind of hide out. Like I said, you might go out a little bit, but I really do feel like you're going to finally say some things that needed to be said to this ex. And over the next few months, you're just going to be like, I'm done. I'm hiding out. I'm getting away from the drama. And, you know, I'm done. I aired my laundry to you. I told you how it was. And, you know, now we're either going to spend the next few months, but I really feel like the next few months, you will give them an inch, but you're not going to let them take a mile, if that makes sense. So, anyways, Taurus, hope you enjoyed. I will see you next month.